Here we are. Let's crack these open.
Let's crack these open.
We're trying this.
Cheers. So, before we even get started, we're supposed to be thinking about how to introduce this, but I'm just going to go right into, I know the guy that made that logo.
I do too.
Clint Davis?
Oh, the logo.
Yeah.
I know the guy who designed the rest of the stuff around it.
No.
His name is Kyle Kostronic.
Oh, nice. See, here's the fucking funny thing is we know each other but don't know each other, and I'm sure that's going to come out a lot in this podcast. But, yeah, I know the guy that did the logo. Shout out to Clint. You guys should follow him on Instagram.
Yeah. Shout out to Kyle, who did the rest of the design.
Bingo. Which is funny because we still don't know how to introduce the podcast.
Right.
I want to do I want to come up with like a 7-second like punk song. Do you think we could do that, like DIY punk?
Yeah.
What do you have for recording?
Just the same BS, my computer, my Logic and electronic drums. We could do something.
Okay. We should do it because, I mean, my amp is right there. It's also a recording interface. Yeah, we need to get on that.
It would be funny I like your idea of doing like a punk song, like a really fast punk song, but then maybe like at the very end it switches and it's like really fast death metal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just what's funny is that's going to be very shocking to your average listener that might find this podcast just because they're a dad and they're like, oh, Heckin Cool Dads, like I got to check this out, not knowing that we are like the coolest people. Right? I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I'll drink to that. Sometimes I don't quite see the cool factor in myself, but you know.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I think going back to the fact that we know each other but don't know each other, we've known each other a really long time. I was actually thinking about this on the way here, trying to really pinpoint when I met you, and it would have had to been 2004 when I was doing the band and synced up with your band. We played the show at the warehouse.
Yep.
Like honestly, I think I knew who you were before that because you were in a fairly known band, but I'm pretty sure that's the first time we met.
If it wasn't the first time we met, it was the first time we like hung out, and I knew of you because I would always be going through my wife's photo albums, or at the time my girlfriend's photo albums, stuff like that, and
legitimately thought you were going to say going through your wife's phone, but
no,
back to that.
No. I do that. No, I'm just kidding. But we'd go through her photo albums and stuff like that, and she would always talk about this guy, her friend Jeff Money, who and I still don't know the origin of that name, but this Jeff had, giant kickwares and ball chain necklaces and stuff like that.
Ball chain necklaces with hemp wrapped around them.
Nice.
Encased ball chain necklaces.
Is there one of those little like glass mushrooms on it?
No doodads, no trinkets, no, but it's funny that you say kickwares because that was absolutely my large pant of choice. I was very fond of the 32-inch opening bottoms, which ironically enough was actually bigger than my waist at that time. It's fucking weird. Never did the UFOs, never did the mushroom thing, never did the psychedelic shit. But it seemed like that was the segue. I mean, people literally went from like kickwares and Jinkos and what's the other big one? Menace. Remember Menace?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had fantastic pocket designs.
Big embroidered
yeah,
kangaroos
super
and shit.
Exactly. I had those. I had the ones with the kangaroos with the boxing gloves on. Don't tell me you skipped all that. I know you did all that.
Here's the deal. I didn't skip it. In fact, I wanted to be a part of it really bad, but my family could never afford it, and then when we could, my mom would let me. So, and on top of that, I went to a extremely conservative Baptist high school where you weren't allowed to wear giant pants. So best I could go was Lee Pipes.
Lee Pipes.
It's like the poor man's big
absolutely.
ones.
They came from Kohl's.
Yeah.
I mean,
my mom worked at Kohl's.
Get out of here. You see? I'm not lying when I say I just know lots of random trivial facts. My mom had a credit card to Kohl's.
There you go.
And we would go shopping there. It's funny you talk about it being expensive because that was something my mom also said all the time. So I had this allowance when we'd go shopping for school. I'd get like one awesome pair of pants that was like, kickwear or menace or whatever. Then a bunch of pipes or other pants. And to supplement them not being quite as large as I want them to be, I would buy them in extremely large waist sizes and then cut them off at the bottom. So it's right around where like a normal human's knee would be. And it was way larger. That's how I got around. It was loopholes.
Loopholes.
At
least it wasn't like, how like a lot of kids would just like get tore up like really high up the back and it would be all dirty and...
That was me.
Ugh.
That was me. You
Gross.
could not avoid that. It actually, to this day, I have this weird pet peeve where I absolutely hate wet things touching my Achilles. And it all it all stems from having big pants, and it would rain and it would touch the ground, and then they would touch my ankle and it would drive me crazy. So for years I wore tall socks because I didn't want the backs of my ripped up jeans to touch my Achilles.
That makes sense.
Yeah. No, I think it's brilliant. Like, I think I'm a genius for that.
It's better than, a pet peeve of mine when it comes to pants and is when like 9, 10, 11-year-old kids, and you're very familiar with this, won't stop wearing the pants that they grew out of. And I'll see kids like that in public where it's like they're wearing like pants, they're like 9-year-olds wearing pants for 6-year-olds. And be like, why are those parents letting their kids do that? That drives me crazy. And then I realized that you get to that point and it's just a fight that you don't want to have. And so you just say, fuck it. Do what you want to do. Wear your pants for 6-year-olds. You look like an idiot.
I have a very relevant story for that. So what my kid does is all of his shorts go from being shorts he wears out to being pajama shorts. That's how he rolls. They progress and they turn into pajama shorts. We did a purge the other day and cleared out a bunch of his stuff. And so he's 9, about to be 10. One of his pair of shorts was a 4 or 5. I mean, he wears a 10. So you can imagine how far up they were. I actually thought they were underwear for like the last year, but like boxer briefs, they were shorts. So he does that same thing. I don't know what that is. And I try to instill a little bit of style. And I know I say that as I sit here in a pair of joggers and a t-shirt that I've had for approximately 7 years, and it has a hole in the...
I thought you were flexing.
No, I wouldn't do
it's
that.
It's got a hole right...
No, I wouldn't do that right now. No, it has a hole in the armpit, and I just refuse to get rid of this shirt. I don't know why. I think it's because it fits me and doesn't make me look fat.
It makes you look stacked.
You met me when I was about 130 pounds. I wore a size 28 waist. I'm easily a 32, 33 now.
At that time, I probably wore a size 6.
You motherfucker. Yet, that is one trend I never did, which is awesome. I never did the girl pants thing.
Oh, man, I was all in.
How did you even get introduced to, you know what? You want fitting jeans? Like, you should probably just put girl jeans on. Like, how did that become a thing?
This was the summer after high school. So I was 17, turning 18, and was moving to Ohio from Michigan. And around the same time, I was getting kind of fully into the emo scene. You're talking Sunny Day Real Estate, like the old school late 90s, early 2000s emo stuff, and was also kind of getting into the more scene-stery hardcore and the early metalcore stuff. So this is 2001, 2002, and I remember this girl I was kind of seeing. We were at Ragorama here in Columbus. It's a used secondhand clothing store, but it's like where hipsters sell their stuff. And we're flipping through stuff, and I was just was like, where do guys get tight jeans? It wasn't a thing yet. Skinny jeans weren't a normal thing. And she was like, oh, all the real emo kids. I remember her saying that all the real emo kids wear girl jeans.
Wow.
And so I remember going through the girls section, and I found a pair of low cut, boot cut, really tight.
You jumped right into the boot cut?
Yeah. Size 6. The brand was Caterpillar.
Not the construction.
Literally the construction.
No,
Yes.
Caterpillar made women's boot
And
cuts?
I remember it. It was my first pair of girl jeans, so I remember it very specifically. This sounds so lame. It's my. I remember it like it was yesterday. My first pair of girl jeans.
I gotta be honest. I'm fully invested in this
But
story.
it only had one back pocket, and the other back pocket there was the shape there, but it was just screen printed yellow because it was Caterpillar or like their golden orange color or whatever.
Yeah.
And I had those jeans for a really, really long time.
With one pocket, that really limited your options on where to put your sidekick.
This was pre-sidekick.
Pre-sidekick?
Yeah.
See,
I never had a sidekick anyway, but I had like a straight up flip phone.
Yeah, I definitely had a sidekick. We're gonna have to cover that at some point. We'll talk about our cell phones, and because I mean we were there before social media, before cell phones. God, that really makes me sound super old. But yeah, I can remember the first one I got. I remember all that good stuff. I will say that I skipped the girl jean thing. I don't know how I skipped it. I don't know if it was intentional or not, because I've always been involved in things that became cool, but I was never cool enough to be the coolest of the cool. And I feel, yeah, I know, that was like Coolception, right?
I feel like there should be like math problems.
Math problems, yeah. No, so what I mean by that is like, you know, I think we probably got involved in most of the music we got involved in coming up at the same time. It was a lot of stuff that was either not popular, it was maybe just becoming cool, it was later super cool, things like that. We went through all these phases, but there's all these trends and niches that happened during those phases, and I just primarily skipped them. Like, I skipped the girl jeans. I wore girl jeans one time ever, and it wasn't actually because I wanted to wear girl jeans. It's because my band at the time, well, my old band, they were coming back and playing a show, and this is when I was not in the band, and you could get into the show for free if you were dressed as your favorite rock star night. And as a joke, I went as Kent. And so I put girl jeans on.
Had a tie, probably.
I did. Well, I don't know if I had a tie. I can't remember, but that was like later Kent, right? So there was like two different Kents, but I had the hat with the real short bill, had some super tight jeans, and honestly, I think I might have even had my own band's shirt on.
Nice.
Like one that I designed.
Nice.
Which, not to tie back to a previous topic that you touched on, but Ragorama. You ever been through there and actually found one of your old band shirts?
Yeah.
Yeah, several times. I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah. This actually, my buddy got this Terror hoodie for me at Ragorama for $16 a couple weeks ago. I've been living in it since, basically.
That's still a very relevant hoodie.
Yeah, and it's like, I think it's like a pretty much like Live by the Code. I mean, that was like 3 albums ago.
Yeah.
But now I totally lost my train of thought.
Oh,
Ragorama. Yes, finding your own band shirts.
Yeah.
But a side note to that, because I have. But there's actually been like Maranatha shirts there too, which is even funnier because it's like I didn't even know people bought our shirts.
I didn't know you made shirts.
But there was one time in Symphony Apparel, which was my older band, we got a run of shirts from a big printing company, and they came in. Every single one of them had like a little square of like a square outside of the graphic that was just screen printed on all 100 of them. And at that time, we were too cool to even sell markdown versions of it. We were like, no way, give us a new order. So my guitar player took him to Goodwill or something like that out on the east side, Pickerington, something like that. And a couple weeks later, our friend was at Goodwill, and there was an entire rack of 100 Symphony Apparel shirts.
Oh, this was
all of them.
Symphony Apparel days?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I can't say that I ever experienced that, but on several occasions, I had come across old band shirts because, the band I was talking about, the Capital Tragedy, like, we went through where we were cool and then absolutely the most hated band in Columbus. But that was like right when I was leaving. I like to think that me leaving made everybody hate them more. I know that's very egotistical, but like, why would anybody hate me?
For real.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm a likable guy.
A likable guy.
Not a lovable, just a likable. Yeah. I got one person to love me, which is cool. My wife.
Hopefully your children.
Yeah. Funny story though. Like, let's talk about kids for a minute because they're weird little creatures. Today, very, very recently, so today, I went to get donuts for everybody. It's something we used to do on, I don't know, Saturday, Sunday. We try to do it at least once every couple weeks. It became a weekly thing for a while, and I was like, ugh, you gotta cut this off. Last night, he goes, hey, can we have donuts tomorrow? Sure, no problem. I wake up, I'm hanging out. My wife gets up, she's taking care of the kids. I go, hey, I'm going to run and get those donuts. I drive 15 minutes one way to get the donuts, 15 minutes back, 5 minutes in the store. As you can tell, I don't necessarily live, in the city. I'm doing air quotes, in the city. I live just outside the city. So it's 15 minutes to it.
Just outside.
Exactly. It's 15 minutes to the donut shop. I go, I get it. Everybody knows I like the ones with the chocolate on top. I got 3 of those. That should be one for me, one for my wife, one for my kid who asked for the donuts. And then I got 9 other donuts. About 7 of those I know he likes. Come home, give the donuts, go upstairs, come down, go to get the donut. Why are all of those eaten? Like, there's 3. Clearly,
He ate all 3?
No, he ate 2, and my wife ate 1. Not mad about that because that was her donut. That was my donut. So I pouted for a little bit, and then when everybody left the room, I snuck over there and fucking still ate 2 donuts. But that was my donut. That's what kids do. They do little kid shit, and they get to live under this I didn't know it was your donut. I'm like, there was 3! What kind of trivial shit do your kids do that just irritate you?
I'm stoked that your kid voice is like a Southern California surfer, bro. That's pretty cool. Trivial stuff, it's amazing to me. The stuff that bugs me, I feel like, is the kind of a lot of classic dad stuff that it's where you're starting to realize oh, I totally understand why my parents were so crazy about this stuff.
Don't touch my thermostat?
Like that, but why is the pantry still wide open?
Oh
and then I walk over there to close it and be like, why are there 4 empty boxes in here? Wheat Thins or Pop-Tarts or, anything that I might want to grab when I need a snack. And I go to reach in there and there's a fucking empty box. I mean, it makes me want to throw them through the window. Back up.
Yeah.
Extreme.
Yeah,
that was extreme.
Of course. It was proverbial window.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's funny you say that. Because I actually didn't know that was a classic thing. Absolutely happens at my house. And it's not just my kid. It's my wife. She does it too. I reach in there to get shit all the time. And it's always the good shit too. The fucking little bites. There's only 4 packs or 5 packs in the whole box. They're $11 a box. Not really, but, I try to buy them when they're on sale. Buy one, get one free. Because otherwise it literally feels like they're raping you. So I go in, get the little bites. It's always open just enough to get your hand in. You can't see inside the fucking thing. And I try to put it up a couple racks so not everybody can just reach in there and get it. No, go in, fucking box just trapped on my hand like I'm waving a box around. It drives me nuts.
The other thing is, we've taught that a couple of our kids have started to use the toaster and the microwave and things like that by themselves, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. So they're always like, can I make some toast? Yeah, fine. I don't have to do it anymore. Cool.
Yeah.
But then, I go up there and the bread bag is open and there's 3 pieces of bread on the floor, on the shelf beneath it. And it's just okay, let's put all the pieces together here. Part of it means if you want to keep having toast, you don't want it to be hard before it goes in the toaster.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, so what genius thought about toast in the first place? I know this is we're deviating real quick. What genius was take that cooked thing, cook it again. Shit'll be so good if you just fucking cook it again.
There's a good chance it might be burnt, but that's okay.
Yeah, fucking cook it again. And then I wonder, where's the point that you draw the line? How many times can you cook toast? If toasting it and making it harder is the point of toasting, can I just toast stale bread and I'll be like, this is fine because it's fucking hot? See? Cost saving.
There you go.
If we get nothing else out of this podcast, it'll be little tidbits like that where we might find ways to save money.
Yeah, if one of you people listening to this can save a few bucks because you used a loaf of bread that was left open to make toast, that we have succeeded.
No, that's one thing I spring for. I spring for good bread. I don't. Do you?
No.
You have no idea. Do you even know what that is? You know what I mean when I say good bread? I mean that $3, That sounds like Jesus bread.
That's like what you get at like Trader Joe's. And
Oh
stuff.
yeah, no, I don't even.
Keep it
no,
you have to keep it in the freezer. Or
I'm
something.
all the way good on just organic stuff in general. Like, just load me up with chemicals. Like, I'm so for science. Just science me the fuck up. Like, if you're telling me preservatives are bad, all I'm saying is it's gonna preserve the shit out of this youthful look.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it.
For me, that's a good way of looking at
Right.
it. For me, it is purely, I just don't have the time or patience for this. You know, it's like I, in a perfect world, would love to be one of those parents who can say, oh yeah, we only clean eat in this house and all of our snacks are organic and healthy and blah,
the right
blah, blah.
balance of vegetables.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't have to pay for breakfast or lunch for my kids because they just get it at school for free on my taxpayer dime. And, you know, that stuff is just garbage. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, it's
regulated more than my household.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I was a poor kid growing up, and I ate garbage my whole life, and I turned out just fine.
Heckin' cool, if you ask me.
So, you know what?
No, but
it doesn't kill the kids, only makes them stronger.
Kelly Clarkson reference?
No.
Since you've been gone?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't a reference to that.
Well, it is now. I've claimed it. No, but going back to that, so bread, like that's the one thing I spring for, and it's actually another penny pinching idea, brought to you by Heckin Cool Dads. It lasts way fucking longer. Not that bread lasts in my house anymore, but you can go and you can buy like 3 loaves, and I swear to you, like if I bought it today, the expiration date will be like 25 days ahead. But then you buy that 58-cent, store bread, and it expires like tomorrow. I'm like, wow, shit, we're about to eat a lot of fucking sandwiches before tomorrow. And then, I might just risk it and toast it.
See, for us, we go through bread like that anyway, so
yeah,
I don't even spring for the...
Do your kids, are they... So you said they eat lunch at school,
yeah.
So they don't pack. My kid hates eating at school. We're kind of like, I would love to wake up and not pack his lunch. It would save me whatever minuscule amount of time that I feel is more important to sit there and drink coffee. But it would save me that time in the morning, and it's like a punishment when I'm like, dude, you got to go in and just ball out at school today and buy food with your card. Like, you're just swiping away. Like, get whatever the fuck you want. Sides, drinks, get 2 of them. Which is funny because we actually looked at his lunch account one time, and, like, he was buying, like, 2 and 3 lunches. Like, multiple drinks.
Hell yeah,
I was like, how the fuck did you spend $11 on school lunch? Like, the things are, like, 4 cents a piece. Like, how did you do that?
Then you think, oh, wait, I spend $11 on lunch every day.
Every fucking day. It is so bad. And ever since I took a new job back in August, my parking situation's amazing. So I can leave and get lunch. And it's like, you never lose your parking spot. It was bad in my old building because I would lose my parking spot every day. So I didn't leave. We had 2 full service cafeterias. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go here and pay more than I would to get good food. But I'm going to get bad food. So then I ate a lot of pizza.
I work at smack dab in the middle of downtown, and I have every amazing downtown restaurant at my fingertips any given day.
And shit downtown. You have shit too.
Oh, shit too.
But here's the thing. Getting off food for a minute. Here's what your job affords you that's the coolest shit ever. Those fucking scooters. True. You have those scooters out front that you can just get on and ride around. Little GoPed scooter things.
People hate them. People fucking hate them. And I totally get it. Because they came out of nowhere. They look super trashy. If there was like docks for them, that might be something. But it's like to walk up and down streets downtown and there's just scooters strewn about, laying on the ground. It looks awful.
I agree.
But they're cheap, and you look like an asshole when you're riding it. But if they are not fun as fuck, I don't know. I will take them. And I got in trouble. I rode down to one of the to the Audubon Park downtown, and I was going down the bike path, and a park ranger in a F-150 on the bike path said, "You're not allowed to ride those on the bike path," says the person in the truck.
In the truck.
And I said, "Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry." And she goes, "Well, we don't have any signs up. It's just the rule." And I'm like, okay.
I wonder, like, what the big deal with him is. Like, here's the thing. So you have buses. That's a public form of transportation. You have bus stops. Those only stop at certain places. Then we introduced something better, more customizable called cabs. Cabs pick you up all the different locations. And then we introduced on-demand personal cabs, Uber, things like that. This feels just like the next iteration of that whole thing. So I don't know why these are causing such an uproar unless it's for, like you said, leaving them all over the place. But that's really just an asshole user. Like, they should just, like when you get on or off them, there's something that you have to like take a picture of it and basically say like, hey, I parked this in a fucking responsible location. Here's the picture to prove it. It's the assholes that come walking down the street that just ninja kick them into the road. Like that's the fuckers that are doing it.
One thing we haven't had in Columbus is the vandalism of them. That happens in a lot of big cities where like people are hanging them on street signs, setting them on fire, throwing them into the ocean.
So I work with a guy who was doing this on the side. So he works in he lives in an urban little area, one of the hot little areas in town. And he happened to have what's called a nest, which is like Bird's version of like where you put the fuckers back, like once you charge them. He had a nest right outside of his house. I mean, at the corner, he could look down and see it. So he said, I'm going to look before I leave work. It's a 20-minute drive. I'm going to look and see where all the expensive ones are. The ones that give me $12 to charge them, $18 to charge them. And I'm going to go find them, snatch $5 on the way home, charge them, drop them back out front before I go to work. And he was making enough money to pay his electric bill, which is funny because I was like, well, your electric bill was probably higher because of these. No, it's a relatively small amount. I don't even want to say an amount because I'll look like an asshole if it's the wrong one, but I feel like it's like 30 cents to charge one.
No, yeah. It's crazy too because they're a culture formed around being the charger people. Yeah. And I guess like it's like really cutthroat. Like like people like race to where there's clusters of them at the end of the day, and it's like there's been issues of like fights and like it's crazy. But I will say this about them: I do understand the pushback on them from the being obnoxious standpoint. That because it does tell you right when you sign up for it to not ride on the sidewalk. Everyone rides on the sidewalk, weaving in and out of people downtown. It's crazy. I get the pushback on them, but at the same time, the most interesting thing is it exposed and filled a need that people have for getting around downtown. Simple as that. Yeah. People didn't realize that they needed the scooters until they were there. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, wow, this is exactly what we need.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, that's kind of how everything is, right? Like, there's this quote that always goes around. And when I originally saw it, I think it was attributed to like Steve Jobs or something, which a million people have corrected me and said, that's not a Steve Jobs quote. I don't know who the fuck said the quote, but the quote is something to the tune of, you got to give people what they need versus what they ask for. If we just gave people what they ask for, we'd still be driving around horse and buggies. We just have more horses on the front. People didn't know they needed cars. We had to do that forward thinking for them. And whoever, wherever we post this, somebody literally give me a link to where that's from. I have no fucking idea. And sure, I could get on the Google. I could bang it up on the Google. But I don't want to. I'd just rather somebody just tell me. Just make it easy for me. The same guy who was charging those, he went to find one day, and he's like, I'm close. It was a real expensive one. I mean, it was like a $20 one. He's like, I got to get this one. Fucking $20. That's like a partial electric bill. And he goes to find it. It's on a bike trail, and he's looking. He can't find it. He looks over. Somebody had thrown it off like one of the cliffs. He's like, oh, there it is down there.
That's what I'm saying.
So there are definitely assholes out here. And then I also saw there's a loophole with them apparently. If you're a charger, some of them turn off at night, right? You're not allowed to ride them at night. I don't remember which company that is. The loophole is if you're a charger and you want to go get it at the night, your app has to unlock them and allow you to ride them or move them, transport them, right? So I think what a lot of people were doing as chargers is they were unlocking them, riding those fuckers around for free, just partying, and then taking them home and charging them.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
I had one downtown Columbus here. There's a bridge that comes down into downtown. So I'm talking about the 3rd Street Summit. Yeah. Big hill comes down with no lights or anything like that. And there's a bike lane. And I was scooting around that thing, and they max out at 16 miles per hour. Like, there's a little speedometer on them, and it tells you. And I think that's where the governor's set on those things. And I'm coming down that bike trail, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to open this guy up and just go for
Just
it.
rip it at 16.
And I saw that thing hit 22, and I mean, it's shaking.
Yeah.
It's and I'm like hoping that I don't hit any like cracks or grates, like sewer grates.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. The thing it does not feel stable. I'll tell you that much. But they are so fun.
Super fun. I wonder if you even have to like. I know this is totally random, but I wonder if you have to balance those wheels. You know, like in a car, like when you hit a certain mile per hour threshold, your shit's like blah, 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 blah. Like it's like, you know, you got to get your shit balanced. I wonder if they're balanced for a certain.
I'll tell you, some of them are quite rickety these days.
Yeah, that's because people like me fucking bunny hop them.
Yep.
Off of curbs and everything else. When I came down, I was actually at the building your company's in. And that's where I was working out of that week. And, you know, we had these long gaps of time between anything I had to do. So I was like, let's go ride these fucking scooters, you know? I'm just a guy from just outside the city. I'm in the city. I'm looking to do city shit.
Go to see some record stores.
Yeah, no. See, we'll have to talk about that, but never got into records. Just didn't. I'm digital. I'm so fucking digital. It's just pathetic. But I came in town. I wanted to ride these scooters around. And then immediately, I mean, due to my background in skating, skateboarding, biking, all that good stuff, I was like, I see a need. I see a need to bunny hop this thing. You find those little embankments where it's like the driveways for cars to go in. So there's that break in the sidewalk and it ramps up just enough. Mm-hmm. There's some big ones downtown. Like they're not bad. They're 8, 9, 10 inches off the ground. I'm like, I mean, honestly, on a good day, I might be able to fucking tail whip this thing. I wonder if it goes all the way around. I should have tried that.
I will say, the one place where they're not fun is German Village. So
Brick streets?
Yep, brick streets. Anywhere where there's brick streets, scooter, not fun.
I don't know. It could be a challenge.
It's not fun.
No, there's some brick streets actually downtown. I rode on a brick street. Ooh, we need cough buttons. That's a real thing. Like, you know, if you're in radio or broadcast or something like that, they have those little like temporary mute gonna cough button. That's what we need.
Kill switch.
Engage.
Ooh. I see what you did there.
Yeah, you see what I did there. Hey, say there, Collin, why don't you reach me one of them there beers?
Oh yeah.
Looks like we're on the same beer drinking schedule. Thank you, sir.
One too many of these and I'll be falling asleep.
We had some beers last night. By the way, it was great fucking weather yesterday. I don't know like what your perfect weather is, but yesterday was basically my perfect weather.
You know, I will say that today I like the temperature better, but
really,
because today it's like 60. Yesterday it was like 48 or something like it. It was deceivingly cold yesterday.
I didn't even know. I didn't even catch it.
My kids were playing outside, and they're like, "Can we go outside without a jacket on?" I'm like, "Sure, that's fine. You know, you can wear just hoodie or long sleeve shirt." And I went outside to run an errand, and looked at the little temperature gauge in the car, and it was 36 degrees outside. It was like 10:30 a.m. yesterday, and I was like, "Oh shoot, it is deceiving out here, kids. You should probably have coats on."
36.
What were your rules growing up? Did you have rules in your family of like certain temperatures where you could switch out like winter outfits or
No.
like for us, we had like a crazy rule. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening, that you couldn't unzip your winter jacket until it was over 40 degrees, which is like I said, my kids were playing outside 36 degrees in hoodies yesterday.
I think we talked about how like I wear big pants. Those are drafty. It doesn't matter like what.
You're just wearing two dresses tied together.
Yeah, you really are.
Or two skirts.
Very long, those hippie skirts.
Yeah. Maxi skirts.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you know that?
Come on.
Oh, wait. Were you a size 6 in those too?
No!
Yeah, exactly. No, I didn't have any rules like that. Like, you know, my mom I have two brothers. They're both older than me. They're both significantly older than me. One is 11 years older than me. One is 13 years older than me.
Yeah, when I met your brothers, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like.
And you know what's crazy is like, and we have a different dad. So they have one dad, you know, 11 years later, she's like, oh no, I'm pregnant. And that was me. It was me.
I have 9 and I have 9 and 11 sisters who are 9 and 11 years younger than me. Same thing.
Oh, yeah. So, but did they think they were done? And then they were just like, oh, shit.
I don't know.
No. Never bothered to ask?
Nah.
No. See, I asked. I was like, yo, what's up? Moms. Was I an accident? You know what I'm saying?
Yup.
Yeah, damn straight. No. Yeah, but I think to add to that, so yes, I was an accident, but like I came from a pretty religious household where it was like, it wasn't an accident. Like, it was God's will, you know? And I don't know if like your family did the same thing. Like I grew up, like I was very involved in church and stuff like that. I was an altar boy. Did you have any like things like that?
Yeah. So you were Catholic?
Yes.
See, I grew up on the other side of the coin. I like straight up evangelical.
Yeah.
So I went to Christian schools, Baptist high school, moved to Ohio, got involved in Pentecostal churches.
See, moved to Ohio. Where are you originally from?
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Really?
Yep.
Who do you root for? OSU and Michigan?
OSU. I went to OSU.
See, this is what I mean by when we started this, we talked about like we've known each other for a long time, don't really know each other.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we probably have so much in common. We have all the same friends. But maybe we just met at the wrong time to where like we were already past the hanging out thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, you had family shit and you had obligations, and then you had like what you did with your free time, which was music and shows. And we always saw each other at music and shows. Mm-hmm. But we never really made it a point to hang out, which is crazy considering my kid, who's now a year and a half old, your wife watched for quite some time. And so I actually saw you guys more during the pickup and drop off, and got to know you both better than in the past, I mean, X amount of years. I don't know how many, but it's crazy how that works.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Yeah, I moved here when I was 18 to go to Ohio State. Dropped out 9 months later, joined the Symphony Apparel.
Really?
And then met my wife and stayed. I like Columbus a lot.
Yeah.
It's funny, so many people who live here, who were born and raised here, can't wait to leave. They always come back though.
Yeah.
Because it's a great city.
I agree. For years I tried to leave. I mean, countless times I tried to leave. Something always accidentally kept me here, whether it was like a relationship I was in at the time or like a job, or I wasn't ready. You know, my dream was always to go to California. And that's funny how this works, because this is going to take us back to a piece we talked about earlier. Wet jeans on the Achilles. I want to go somewhere where there's no precipitation. I do not want rain. I don't want fucking snow. I don't want anything. Like I want to appreciate that when I come home to visit and I'm like, "Oh, fuck yeah, I get to buy this cool jacket because it's cold enough for a jacket." And then I want to go out there and live in great weather all the time. And so I tried to go to California.
I was going to say, San Diego is your city.
That would have been my city. I was supposed to move out there with Kyle.
Huh.
And we just didn't. Which, you know what? It doesn't matter, because like I actually, like you said, my plan was to go out there and like do some living and then come back here, you know, raise a family, stuff like that. So that's the type of things like Columbus is great for. We're great. We have urban, we have country, we have everything in between. We've got a lot of entrepreneurs. We've got a lot of startups. You can pretty much do whatever you want.
Got a lot of big corporations too.
It's
just, yeah, I love it. And you know, it's truthfully it's really just very similar to Grand Rapids. It's a bigger version, which I'm.
Yeah, less potholes. We have a lot of fucking potholes, but I think it's less than Michigan.
Oh, absolutely.
Jesus.
No tax money goes to potholes or goes to the roads in Michigan.
No.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there was a joke for a long time that you remember those quarters? They'd come out and they'd have the different states on them, and then everybody was like, "Oh, when the Ohio State quarter comes out, it's gonna have an orange barrel on the back." Ugh. Yeah, I was like, eh. Honestly, I see where it's coming from though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of orange barrels. So, which leads, I actually want to talk about something. So, puns, right? Okay. I was thinking about this yesterday. Are dad jokes just puns? Did we just rebrand puns to dad jokes?
Pretty much. Because I mean, like I remember growing up, and my best friend's dad was very punny.
Yeah.
And
Jeff Punny. See, I did a pun about my name. Like,
wow,
that's the ultimate dad thing.
And then you immediately attributed it to dad jokes.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so yeah, I would say Yeah, that really is. I can't think of many dad jokes that aren't just puns.
Yeah. I don't know when that happened. Like, at some point, puns just became dad jokes. We just rebranded them. And then all of a sudden, they were a bad thing. Like, were puns a bad thing? Like, I don't remember puns being a bad thing.
Well, I wouldn't call them a bad thing, but I do, like, when my friend's dad would say a pun, we would always go, oh, that's a groaner. You know,
a groaner.
It was still kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
But it was never a bad thing.
Were puns ever supposed to be funny, though? Or were they just supposed to be smart?
That's a good question. Because that would change my perspective on them quite. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm just trying to be clever.
Yeah, that's exactly. Clever is a good word for it. So that's what I was thinking on the way here is like, I always go, oh, dad joke or hashtag dad joke. But like, I don't know that puns were ever intended to be funny. I think they're just clever.
Yeah. But they are pretty funny.
I fucking love them. And I don't even know when I started loving them. My introductory to parenting was as a stepfather. So you have how many kids?
3.
3 kids. I have 2. I don't consider, my stepkid a stepkid. I consider him my kid. And, everywhere we go, people think he's my kid. Like, what? Knowing me before meeting my wife and stepson and stuff like that, did I give you the impression that I was the stepdad, father type?
I could see you. I could see you having a kid for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say it's not just you. It's like anybody I know who's a stepdad. It's like I don't think you ever expect somebody to be a stepdad.
Yeah.
But though, just the way our culture works, it is absolutely inevitable that there's going to be a lot of stepdads.
Oh yeah.
And so
and more every day.
Yeah.
Like people just don't treat kids like they're permanent anymore. It's crazy.
And so like so I would say no. I wouldn't pin the stepdad type on anybody. Mm-hmm. Mostly because I had a terrible one. Really? But yeah, I mean it is really interesting to think about how many we're going to have an entire community of stepchildren that are just to your point is exponential.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're experiencing this right now. I'm experiencing this. Because you got, how old were you when you got married?
I mean,
29?
No, dude. How old do you think I am? This will really show you that we don't know each other.
You're 34, 35, right?
I'm 36.
36?
I'm 30 fucking 6.
So you got married when you were 33?
I'm the same temperature that you said it was in your car yesterday.
Well, I'm 35, so...
That's also how many ounces are in a brick of cocaine.
Oh.
Fun fact.
Straight off the brick.
I learned it from Chainz, but go on.
His new record is a
fucking
fire.
Banger.
It's
fucking banger.
A banger.
Let's go back to that in a minute.
NCAA. Anyway.
Stick with the fucking stepdad.
But it's really interesting to me. So you and I don't really relate too much in this way of like I got married when I was 23. Mm. You got married when you were 32, 33. It was like 4 years ago.
No.
3 years ago.
Yeah. So this September will be 3 years.
Jeez.
I know. Fucking. I don't understand when I got so bad at like remembering time frames. But I am really bad. And if my wife listens to this, boy, she's going to be fucking liking and commenting and telling you exactly how bad I am. I am fucking terrible at time frames.
Okay, so I'm going on 12 years here.
Of marriage?
In 2 weeks.
Oh, that makes sense. And your one kid's what, 10? 11?
Almost 11.
Yeah.
So, I got married when I was 23. And around the same time, especially those of us who were really involved in the evangelical church, 22, 23, that's around the time you get married. It's just the way it is. And so all of my friends were getting married, some having kids, but we were generally kind of ahead of the curve on the kid thing. But here we are 10 years in, 12 years in for us, but the general time frame of about 10, 15 years, I'm starting to watch the statistics pour in. And it seems like every couple weeks, another one of my friends' marriages or long-term relationships ends. And it's just like, it's scary for one, because it's like, when's the other shoe going to drop for us? I don't think it's going to. And I, dear God, hope not.
You guys are very resilient people.
But it's weird. It's weird. I appreciate that. It's weird. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're seeing this around you, but I am watching literally people dropping like flies, and it's crazy. And all due respect to all of my friends, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus or talk shit because your story is your story, but it's just so crazy to me.
So as your elder, Collin, I've been seeing it for quite some time, and I wonder if that's because differences of how we grew up.
My elder by 1 year.
Are you 35?
35.
See, again.
Did you graduate in 2000 or 01?
Define graduate. Did I acquire a document?
A general education degree?
Yes.
Hell yeah,
I got
you
my
did.
fucking GED. So I was supposed to graduate in 2000.
Okay, so you're 1 year, fully 1 year older than me.
Yeah. So I was supposed to. Yeah, I was always like the young kid in class.
Me too.
You have a
Summer
when's your
birthday.
Yeah, summer birthday.
July 18.
August 13th. Born on Friday the 13th. And, like,
Nice.
people will be like, oh, that explains a lot. Like, I fucking hate that. Like, I always get that. That explains a lot.
I would totally agree. Anytime somebody says that explains a lot,
Yeah.
it
never
isn't a
explains
compliment.
anything.
It's not a compliment. People even might think they're making a compliment, but it is not. That explains a lot.
You know what it is? It's a dad joke. It's a pun. Well, no.
Man, it's not a pun.
Wait a minute. So here we go. It is kind of a dad joke, but it's not a pun.
Yeah.
So maybe there is another layer to dad jokes that are not puns.
On top of that, but it's also just a bald-faced judgment. Bold-faced judgment.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
But I feel like that's such a common thing. Like, people just say that because they think it's a funny thing to say. I don't think anyone ever really thinks that explains a lot. Like, that doesn't explain shit. Like, what does that explain?
Let me put this into perspective. My best friend, homeschooled. Okay? And, man, we bust his balls about it like crazy. Mm-hmm. And so does everybody else, because that's what you do to homeschoolers.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. But I know how much it drives him crazy, but the amount of times I've heard him say, I was homeschooled, and heard somebody else say, well, that explains a lot. Oh, boy. You know, it's like I could feel a little, you can watch a little piece of him die every time somebody says that.
Yeah. I always get it when I say...
It's awful.
When I say I was born on Friday the 13th. And, like, maybe I should just fucking stop telling people. Like, if I want to stop hearing it, I should stop setting it up. It's like, you know, the bump set spike, like the volleyball thing. It's like, I'm the bump in the set, and they're like, yeah, that explains a lot. Fuck yeah, that explains a lot. I'm just like, maybe I should stop setting them up if I want to hear it. I'm doing it to myself. No, speaking of graduating and should have, I failed 7th grade.
Nice.
But
7th grade.
Yeah, no, but let me explain. Let me defend myself, right?
I didn't judge anything.
No, I know, but I always feel the need that I gotta explain. Like, it was completely my fault. Like, I accept full responsibility. I did it on purpose, basically. I went to public school from K through 5. Same public school. Just off of Parsons Avenue. It had a very eclectic mix of people. It's in what's now... well, what even then was known as German Village, but it didn't have the prestige around it that German Village has now. Like, people think like, oh, you live in German Village, damn, you must be rich. Oh, you went to school in German Village, it's like, like, I don't know. Like, you could either be rich or you could be from across Parsons, which is, like, notoriously a bad area, right? So I went to public school. I was a great academic student. Like, I got great test scores, but I was in peak every fucking day. And if you don't know what peak is, it's like in-school suspension for when you're acting out.
Is that a Columbus City Schools thing? Because my kids talk about it.
It must be. I've said it before, and some people, even outside of Columbus, have understood it, and some people have been like, hey, what's that? So I just feel the need. Like, it's like in-school suspension, but it's not in-school suspension. Like, it doesn't go on your record. I'm sure there's a record of it somewhere. But, like, basically when you're fucking around in class, it was like a way to go to timeout and still have to do your shit. So they would send me to peak damn near every day because I was class clown, just always, you know, acting out. Excuse me. And I think a lot of that was actually because I was so insecure. Like, I fucking looked a train wreck as a kid. I don't know what you look like as a kid, but I had the thickest fucking glasses. And this is long before technology existed to give you lenses that didn't make your eyes look like fucking frogs. So I was constantly, like, just feeling mad insecure with my spiked up hair and my super thick glasses and my ears that were way too big for my fucking head. Like, they were just way too big. Super thin, super skinny. And then they would go to peak. And I'd take my fucking schoolwork and I'd go to peak. And then I'd go to peak and I would act a fool in peak. So they'd put these like 3-part divider around me so I couldn't even look at the other assholes that were in peak with me. And I would draw Ninja Turtles on it. Like that was like my K through 5, right? That being said, I actually got straight A's K through 5. Or whatever they graded you on. I don't even know if it was A's. It might have been 1s and 2s or whatever fucking weird rating system they had. But I got straight good grades. In second grade, I even scored like super fucking high on this test where I was like in the top 1 percentile of the state. Like everybody was like, holy shit, he's super smart, but he's an asshole. That being said, I'm going to round this back to my brothers. So my brothers were really big assholes. When they hit middle school, they were the baddest fucking kids. They were into all the wrong shit.
Like bad or like bad like the baddest kids?
No, dude, they were bad like carrying
cool bad?
nunchucks. Like fucking carrying nunchucks.
That's cool bad.
Yeah, that's cool bad, but that's also like they were like, you know, they were starting to get into like bad shit, like shit that can get you prosecuted. And, you know, I even remember like looking outside and the fucking cops were out there and they were bringing one of my brothers home. It was crazy. And I was like, holy shit. So my mom attributed a lot of that to the middle school that was around us. It was a Columbus Public Middle School. She thought it was the school's fault. Not that we just had badass kids in a badass area. Like, she thought it was the school's fault. So for middle school, she's like, you're going to Catholic school. And I said, no, I'm not. It turns out you can't really make those decisions as a 5th grader. Like, I'm not allowed. So she sent me to Catholic school with the help of my grandmother. You know, they funded the tuition by any means necessary. And
same thing. My grandma bankrolled my private school.
Yeah. They were like, fuck these little badass kids. Like, we're going to pay to put them in non-badass kid school because that was, you know, we need religion. Like, that's what it was. They were like, you need Jesus, like, clearly. So I go to 6th grade. I actually have to go to Catholic school. I didn't do a motherfucking thing in Catholic school. Like, 6th grade, I did nothing. I did no work. I fought my 3rd day. My 3rd fucking day, it was raining, and we couldn't go to recess. And this kid was just talking shit. I beat him up in the coat room. 3rd day, and what's crazy is, I know. Like, I sound like such an asshole. Like, I've changed so much. What's crazy is, like, these kids were in school from kindergarten through 8th grade. It was a K through 8 school. Relatively small school in Marion Village. It's not there anymore, but relatively small school. I beat this kid up 3rd day, and kind of, like, asserted myself as, you know, you're not going to pick on me just because I wasn't in class with you for the last fucking 7 years. So, beat this kid up. The teacher retires at the end of the year, passes everybody. I'm not kidding. I didn't do shit that whole year.
That's how you go out, though.
Yeah, she passed Miss G, I am sure you are super dead. I'm sure. Miss G, I know you are super dead wherever you are.
Was she old?
Yeah, she was
old.
Oh,
she was retiring.
She was retiring.
So she was in her 60s at the time, probably.
Yeah. And you know, like,
rest in peace, Mrs. G.
R.I.P. Miss G. Like, she passed everybody. There was 2 of us that should have definitely failed, and I was absolutely one of them. I can say that with the utmost confidence. So she passed everybody. She passed me with a shitty grade, but she passed me, and I was like, oh my god. Catholic school is amazing. Apparently, if you pay for school, you can do whatever the fuck you want, and they pass you. That didn't work in 7th grade.
I was about to say, that's not how it works.
No, 7th grade, I had a guy, dude, I remember this teacher's name, and I don't remember a lot of my teacher's names. I remember Miss G because, you know, she held me down, right? And I remember this guy because I actually became pretty close with him the 2nd time through. His name was Mr. Chaucer, and his first name was Dennis Chaucer. So if Dennis Chaucer is out there, shout out to you, man. You held me down. He failed the fuck out of me. Like, absolutely failed me. And it crushed me. I was like, oh my God, this is real? I can fail?
Was it like Dangerous Minds where it was because he was trying to help you?
As I walked through the valley of the shadow, there was no Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah, no, he absolutely was trying to help me. The 2nd time through, I was a little less of an asshole, but still pretty much an asshole. Turns out I almost failed the 2nd time too. I would have literally ran away from home if I'd have failed the 2nd time.
I'm not gonna lie, this is a big fear I have of my kids getting into, like, my son starts middle school next year, and I wasn't a fuck up, but like you, I tested well.
Yeah.
Because you probably did you take a lot of notes in class?
No.
Yeah, see, you just kind of
I just
absorbed it
got
as they
it.
were talking,
Yeah.
and then you just spit out the test answers. Exactly the same way. But, like, I think my senior year of high school, I probably did a total of 20 minutes of homework at home.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it was in between classes and just to get by.
Yeah.
Ended up graduating with, like, a 2.9, B-, something like that.
Yeah.
When I could have applied myself.
I said yeah, but I truly don't even know what the fuck that means. You're like 2.9 B-. I was like, yeah.
No, well, I mean, yeah.
I get it now. I know 4.0
somebody says 4.0
like,
or 3.75 or something like that. They're good.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I didn't apply myself quite, and I can already see that in my oldest son, that he's headed the same direction. He's really smart and he totally gets it. He's always way ahead of the curve, but doesn't give a fuck about actually getting homework done. Uh-huh. And I see it. I see where this is going, but I do not want to have a fuck up. As simple as that. I don't want to be the parent that's got the fuck up.
You know why? Because you feel that's a reflection of you.
Yeah, for sure.
But is that? Like, are we always responsible for our kids' actions? We're responsible for guiding them and teaching them, but are we actually responsible for their actions? This goes back to the, like, video games made my kid violent. Like,
yeah.
Nuh-uh, you just were a shitty parent. And it's like, my views have definitely changed, these days. Like, as I became a parent, I've been like, I give him all the tools needed. Here, let me put it in a different term. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? I give him all the tools to be successful, and still, like, I always make fun of him because I'm like, you're like a 50% kid, which means that if I give you 100 tasks, you're going to do 50% of them. I can be like, hey, tie your shoes, and fucking one of his shoes will be untied. I'm like, how did you get distracted between shoe 1 and shoe 2?
My kids are like 30% kids.
Yeah? Well, yeah, fuck. Yeah, and maybe I was generous with the 50, but no, he does that all the time.
Yeah, no, it's just because to me, when I say I don't want to have a fuck up, is because I feel like that is the point where you've, as a parent, lost control.
Yeah.
Where like, control's the wrong word, but I've lost my grip. You know, it's like you know, I've already had to kind of have the existential crisis of I'm not in control of my child anymore. Because like he's gonna go out and ride his bike around the neighborhood, or he's gonna go to school and you know, hear kids say racial slurs. You know, I can't control the inputs and outputs anymore. I've already gotten past that, but now it's like the idea of completely. It's like the idea of having a fuck up is like they're completely out of my reach, and they're just doing whatever the fuck they want. They're not listening to me. They're not respectful to anybody, and I don't want to have that.
Have you had those talks? Have you had, like, the racial talks and the...
A little bit. I was listening to a rap record yesterday, and N-word was flying around, and I just my kids are minorities in their school. It's a very international school. A lot of Muslim kids, a lot of South Asian kids, a lot of Somalian kids, and so it's a beautiful culture at their school. But I was just asking, I was like, do kids say racial slurs? Do you got kids running around saying the N-word, stuff like that? And thank God they said no. I hope they're being truthful.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is around the time that I started, like, saying bad words, like, in my spare time. Do you remember when you started cussing and started saying bad stuff?
Oh, it was absolutely in grade school. 3rd, 4th grade.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that I attribute that to I hung around a lot of older people. And I know that's weird, but, like, you know, my cousin, my brothers, they were, like, prominent people. They were known throughout their respective circles as being people. I don't even know how to fucking word this. They were known as being go-to people for various things.
Are you, like, part of the mob?
You know, it's when I say things like that, it makes me feel like I am, right?
My two brothers.
Yes.
They're notorious.
My brothers, they come to me. No. And like I said, the school I went to was a very it was a diverse school, but it was also, I was the minority there as well, which is not typical. That's not real world. Like, real world, we are not obviously the minority by any means. But in that respective school specifically, I was. And also the area I grew up in, very urban community. Like, I never never had that like awareness like, oh, this person's different. I just always felt we were all the same. We have absolutely had those talks with our oldest, primarily because my wife is 50% Mexican, you know? And so we had these talks up front, like, you are technically part of a minority. You're a quarter, you know? You probably apply, you qualify for grants.
Yeah. I mean, it's not by blood. It's not by blood to my kids because, we have different dads, but my two sisters are both half Mexican.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have their last name is Castro, you know. So like we've had some of these conversations.
No relation to Fidel.
No, not Cubans. Oh my God, the amount of times we heard that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because my mom still my mom divorced that guy, but she still kept the name because it was at that point in her life where she's just like, fuck it, this is Castro now. Ooh, I just threw my mom's name out there.
You want me to put
want
me put one of those on?
Yeah. But you guys, you want to know my mom's address too?
There's a lot of beeps coming.
Anyway, the one thing I will say is, people come down on, I'm not opening a big can of worms here, but people come down on PC culture and snowflakes and having to police everything we say. The other side of that coin, and I get the damage that causes, but the benefit of that I'm seeing of being more sensitive with the way we talk is, the one thing that our schools are teaching is empathy, and I didn't have that. My schools didn't really teach that. I went to uppity, rich, white Christian schools, so the most racist shit I ever heard in my entire life was with the kids I went to school with, and it's racist, sexist, homophobic, all that stuff, and man. I'm glad that there wasn't a lot of record back in the day of things I said because I would be canceled quickly. But hearing my kids talk about like other kids and being afraid for them because they're Muslims or, things like that, that's just like, wow. Like, I don't even have to. Obviously, in my house, we try to have, this is a culture of everybody is the same. Everybody loves everybody. It doesn't matter your creed, sex, gender, orientation, anything like that. But like to have them kind of already be stepping into this empathetic mindset just because of the diversity in their school and the way they approach it. It's not about being sensitive. It's not about not wanting to hurt people's feelings. It's about being like good people.
I agree.
And it's really cool.
We've had these talks before because I knew that you had some form of religion in your background. I wasn't sure to what extent, but I knew that it was there, and it's there for me as well. And I almost feel like, and I've said this before, religion has, in my opinion, it has one thing, one purpose, right? And that is to make you a better person. If you look at like all the things that religion done, it has always tried to make us a better person. And I think I got a lot of that from the people I was around. Like, if you look at the commandments and stuff like that, they're all like, they're very straightforward things that we should all know. It's like, don't bone your neighbor's wife. Check. You know what I'm saying? Don't steal shit. Check. By the way, we're recording this in a practice space. And if you start hearing music, other bands are starting to practice. We're actually, I think, getting pretty close to wrapping up, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I honestly haven't heard a lot of the stuff in the background, so
I haven't either. I heard a couple kick drums just popping through.
Yeah, it's interesting as somebody who is recently out of the spiritual community, the church community. My wife and I, as a family, we left the church maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and still kind of working out what that means for our faith or lack thereof. So as a fresh ex-Christian, as I'll call it, that's that's the best way to put it. The interesting thing is, and I've seen it come up in like issues that I've had with friends and stuff like that, where I approach things, even though I'm not really sure what I believe in as far as a God or something anymore. I approach things like in the Jesus way first. It's like, so like I believe that like a lifestyle of forgiveness is the right way to live.
Agreed.
Regardless of, so, And that's something that doesn't track with a lot of people. So I've found myself kind of butting heads with people sometimes about that sort of thing, because it's just, as a culture, we don't really think that way. But I've only ever known in my little culture to think that way.
I
so
agree.
I might not even, I might not believe in whatever anymore, but this idea of like, no, a lifestyle of forgiveness and love and grace and mercy and all that stuff is like so good. So that's my default position.
Yeah. No, I agree. And for me, I left the church and religious thinking a long time ago. It was much longer than you ago. For me, though, it's like I've often had this debate with people: can morals exist without religion, or does religion teach you morals? And which kind of led me down the path that I'm very glad that I had the upbringing I did. For me, I think there's too much that goes on in the church for me to subscribe to anything. I think people use religion as a weapon. I mean, I think that's the easiest way to put it. People use it as a weapon, and if you're weaponizing anything, it's not a good thing. That's a people thing. They shouldn't be doing that. But I appreciate the things that I learned as an altar boy. I appreciate the things I learned throughout school, in a Catholic school, and I appreciate the people around me that kept me grounded when I was saying reckless shit just to be funny. Mm-hmm. I appreciate them reeling me in. So it's definitely lended itself to how I believe today. Is just I simply put it as, I don't want any drama. Like, I just don't want any drama. Like, I'm all about lifting your friends up. Like, I'll do whatever I can to help my friends get ahead. And I think, you and I are the same person in that regard. Again, while your wife was watching my kid.
Wow, we went deep there for a minute. Mm-hmm. So I think that we need to lift her up, and we need to talk about that 2 Chainz record.
Okay. So, shout out to my homie Kylo. I don't know if he's going to see this, but probably, and this goes back to, I'm fucking terrible with time frames. I have no idea when the original 2 Chainz came out, like when he stopped being Titty Boy and started being 2 Chainz. He's got a record on, it's probably his second major 2 Chainz release, called 36. And it goes 36. That's how many ounces in a brick. 36.
That's where you...
And that's why... So 2 Chainz taught me exactly how many ounces were in a brick of cocaine. But when that record was going around, I don't always look like the person that likes rap, but that's literally where I came from. I came from the South End. Rap was what I knew first, long before hardcore. I was about 13 or 14 before I started getting introduced to hardcore, and that being, Visions of Disorder and like stuff like that. Like, Rami, R.I.P. Rami, my cousin Mike, they're who introduced me to that. But before that, my cousin had introduced me to rap. And so I got a very, very extensive rap background. I was even in a joke rap group. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The same thing. I mean, my stepdad introduced me to like Pantera and Metallica and Prong and shit like that when I was, 92, 93, so I was 9, 10 years old. But before that, it was like, man, to this day, I still want, I look at Craigslist all the time to see if I can find a 64 Impala with hydraulics in it. And I actually want to get one, and I want to put hydraulics in it because my bread and butter is Dr. Dre videos. 91, 92, like that was my first stuff on my own I was really getting into was rap music.
Yeah.
And it's funny because one of my coworkers a couple of years ago asked me, she's like, so what kind of music do you listen to? And I was like, rap and metal.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, so like every other suburban white kid.
And
I was like, oh,
wow. That's real though.
Yeah.
It's crazy how rap made a comeback. I remember, when we met and when we were playing metalcore, emo core, like whatever core you want to call what our bands were doing. It wasn't cool to like rap anymore. Like it was definitely, that whole thing went away. And then, it's crazy how trends go because in came at some point electronic and dubstep, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you ever got into any of that shit.
I mean, I was really, really big into electronic stuff in like '99, like the Chemical Brothers and Prodigy. R.I.P. Keith Flint. R.I.P. Keith Flint. One of the most important people of my childhood.
Let me stop you for a second because I was talking about Prodigy one day, and my coworker, he fired back with like the best thing. I screen capped that he had died, and I sent it to him, and he's kind of like, he's very clean cut, but he has a lot of the upbringing that we have. Like he knows all about these old nu metal bands and shit, and I'm like, if I looked at him, I would absolutely say you don't know a fucking thing about any of those, but he knows about all of them. So I screen cap it, I sent it to him, and he goes, "Damn." In other news, where was Prodigy from?
The UK.
He goes, in other news, the UK, arson and battery are down 1%. And he was referencing Smack My Bitch Up and Firestarter. And I was like, that's a dad joke.
Yeah.
But I couldn't stop thinking about it.
True story. I got to say this to that's good though.
Yeah. See, it'll sit with you. It's like capsaicin. Like it'll keep on building, and all of a sudden you just keep thinking about it.
To defend my boys in the Prodigy, my boys.
Your boys.
Smack My Bitch Up does not refer to actually hitting a woman.
Right.
It's some British phrase that's like taking it to the fullest.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes.
No, I agree.
It is hilarious though. When someone hears the word "smack my bitch up," they always go, "Why would you want to listen to that misogynistic shit?"
Oh my god. That's the triggered community is something else today. Like you can think anything is something other than it is.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, like and I'm fine with that. Like do whatever you want with all that. Like I know how I live, I know how my friends live. I'm cool with that. I just thought that was really funny. I hope more dad jokes / puns come out of more things. And maybe I'm a dark human, but there is no such thing as too soon for me.
I agree with that for the most part.
Give me an example. Like give me a too soon. Like did anybody ever hit you with something that you were like, oh, like I kind of like that, but it was too soon.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time. I don't know.
It never happens.
I don't think I could have something. I don't think I could serve up an example.
It never happens to me.
Serve up. Wow. Digital.
Yeah.
Talk about something that somebody who's our parents' age would not understand what we mean when we say serve up.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I couldn't think of, but I know what you're saying. I'm okay with too soon jokes.
Oh,
for the most part.
Dude, count me in. I actually have a...
The fact that people are still tiptoeing around 9/11 jokes is like crazy to me.
That was...
We don't got to go there.
No, we don't, but that's like almost 20 years ago at this point.
I thought of this morning. I'm 2 years away from a 20-year high school reunion. It's just so fucking bonkers.
Did I luck out? Because
I skipped my 10-year and ruined my wife's.
Let's drop back to this. I dropped out. That's what I did. I dropped out because, when I had the strict...
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
I knew that from what Sierra told me. I knew that you were kind of a fuck up, but I did not know that you...
You motherfucker. You called me a fuck up.
I literally did on purpose to call back earlier.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I left. I left school in my... I think I was in my...
What a nice way. I left school.
I was like, peace. No, I left school in my junior, senior year. I actually don't even fucking know. Because I failed 7th, I would have technically graduated had I stayed in 2001. I was originally supposed to graduate in 2000 when I was 17. But I failed 7th, so I would have graduated in 01. What happened was... I've never been in the position to be able to skip school before. Through Catholic middle school, they chain the doors. You were in the same class all day. Our teachers fucking rotated.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't switch classes, so I couldn't skip school. So when I got to 9th grade, I was like, there's no chain on that door. And my friend's like, why would there be? And I'm like, dude, can I leave? Fuck yeah, you can leave. Cool. I started school on a oh shit, hit the mic. I started school on a Wednesday, skipped on Friday. What I figured out, and this is probably super common knowledge, but I just never was in a position to learn it.
What grade was this?
This was 9th grade.
You dropped out in 9th grade?
No, I dropped out in 12th.
Oh, okay.
I figured this out in 9th grade. So 9th grade, I was like, hold on, so they take attendance in your first class? And then, like, you have to walk to classes. Like, what happens if you just don't go to class? And everybody's like, nothing happens. Fun happens. And I'm like,
stay in school, kids.
yeah, stay in school. I was like, holy shit. So me and my friend Kyle, we were like, fuck it. Let's skip school. The first Friday, let's skip school. Started school on a Wednesday. By Friday, and we had what's called block schedules. So we only had 4 classes a day and then lunch. They were double the length. And then halfway through the year, you switched to a different 4 classes. So a lot of people have like 8 classes a day, right? That wasn't us. So when you're skipping a class, you're skipping like over an hour of class. Like, it's a crazy amount. So we fucking bounce out. Neither one of us drove. It's 9th grade. Shit, kick drums again.
It's all right.
We're like, oh, we're dodging behind cars and shit. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I saw a city truck. I'm like, he's got a radio. He's going to radio the cops. Dude, we didn't even make it. Like, I'm not kidding. So from the school to Parsons Avenue was like a block and a half. We didn't even make it to Parsons Avenue. I left school at 9:15, and we made it about 5 houses before Parsons, and we're too afraid to cross Parsons. I happen to know a guy that lived in that house. He was a friend of my cousin's. We ducked in his house and waited till school was over to leave. Like, that's how paranoid I was. I got really good at skipping, though. Like, phenomenal. Like, I was like, I'm out this bitch.
Dude, I was too afraid to get in trouble. I was a straight and narrow kid.
Not me. So it started by I started just skipping like 1 class. By the 2nd and 3rd year, like junior year, I was like, I'd go to the first class and then I was fucking gone. That's it. I was gone for the day. Well, I got caught for truancy. So we got a little background
I don't even
music.
hear it though in here.
I don't really hear it either. I'm wondering if you can hear it on the camera and the mics, because these are condenser mics. Maybe I'll try and edit it out or something. But anyway, so I go to they took me downtown.
I think we're good, actually.
They took me downtown.
Really?
Oh yeah, they took me downtown. But I'm a caveat with, I was a huge Bone Thugs and Harmony fan, right? That's important to the story, and I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. They take me downtown. They sit me in this room with other kids that got caught for truancy, and it was bullshit how they caught me in the first place. I'm walking, I look back, I look forward, boom, there's a cop there. I was like, oh shit, a cop. I tried to walk around him, like I was like real slick, like, oh hey officer, go around him. He's like, hey sir, do you have a note? Why are you out of school? I said, I'm sick. He goes, well, I gotta take you back to the school and get a note. I said, oh, all right. He opens the fucking paddy wagon doors. I get in. There's like 7 other kids in there. I'm like, okay, this is a fucking operation. Like, they're hemming people up right now.
I didn't know this was still a thing.
Well, I don't know if it is now. It definitely was when I was in 9th grade. It was definitely a thing. So I'm in the car. He starts driving to the school. And mind you, I'm only a block from the school at this time. This is as far as I made it my first day of school, but this is my 3rd year of school. So he gets me in the car, and then I hear the radio, and he's talking to other cars. He's like, yeah, we have another one walking up Kossuth. And we're like, oh shit. They got parked cars all over the place. It's an operation. They're like snagging kids up.
Crazy.
Dude, it's fucking crazy. So he goes, we're going to take you back to the school. I'm like, no big deal. Takes me to the school, pulls in the parking lot, and then pulls out the other side to go get another kid. I'm like, damn, I'm going to juvenile. Takes me downtown. They sit me in front of this, or they stand me in front of this paper, and this paper has like, I don't know, a list of 20 things on it. You look around, and you've got 15 kids. I got the burps like crazy. I got 15 kids standing around, just staring at these like list of rules. They're staring at them. He goes, nobody can sit down until you can recite those top to bottom. And that was like their way of saying, like, you're going to stand until your parents come get you. I'm standing there. I'm reading them. I'm like replaying them back in my head. Look around. Everybody's standing. I'm like, I'm going to sit, man. Fuck this. I sit down. He comes barging in. I told you to stand until you could recite them. I just started. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get down. I think it's like 18. I get down 18. I say it all, and he's like, okay. I guess you can sit. And I was like, I like Bone Thugs and Harmony. And in my mind, it's because Bone has so many lyrics. They have so many lyrics per verse. And I memorized all the Bone Thugs lyrics. They had so many lyrics per verse. I looked at all that and was like, That's like a quarter of a bone verse. I can do this.
Hilarious.
Dude, I was so confident in myself. But yeah, I was the
Were
only
you reciting it in like...
No, there was none of that, but I absolutely hit it top to fucking bottom, and he was like, okay, I guess you can sit down.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me, the truancy thing. That's so crazy. So for me in high school, going to a Baptist high school, you know, you were talking earlier about getting away with stuff because you pay tuition.
Yeah.
Not in my high school. You only got away with stuff if your parents were donors. So man, if your parents were dropping 60 G's, you know, like if your parents,
that's a real thing.
If your parents were
there's no way that's not coming through the mic.
Wouldn't we be hearing it?
I have no fucking idea.
I mean, I can hear it a little bit, but it's not anywhere near the volume of our voices.
Let me just be quiet for like 3 seconds. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely
getting a couple lights.
Yeah, we're getting some lights. It's all right. We'll be fine.
I actually think that it's not going to be as bad as you think it is.
It's not.
But you know, if your parents are dropping 60 G's to help build a new science lab or a new wing for the gym or something like that, those were the kids who could get away with whatever the fuck they wanted. The rest of us, fuck no, dude.
It's interesting you say that because one of the kids that was a grade below me, I'm not going to say his name because honestly I have no idea where this kid is today. I can only imagine based on what I'm about to tell you that he went on to be something of himself. So he was a kid, really good at basketball. I mean, like disgustingly good at basketball. 7th grade, just disgusting. He like destroyed all of us every time.
Is his name Titty Boy, later known as 2 Chainz?
2 Chainz? No, it was not. I wish it were. If I had known 2 Chainz, my life would be completely different. That's 100. Factual information. No, so this kid had his 2 uncles. One played for the Falcons, and one played for the Bulls.
Crazy.
Yeah, and so we didn't have a gym at our school. I mean, I don't know if you guys had a gym, but we did not have a fucking gym. It was the most podunk little bullshit ass school, and it's probably why it shut down because it was bullshit. There was a field right across the street. Well, his 2 uncles, one being for the Falcons, one being for the Bulls, offered to buy that and build us a gym on that location. And the guy who owned that property, before he died, there was one house on it. And it's still a park to this day. It's Moeller Park, right on the corner of, it's like 8th, Bruck, and Hanford and Freebus.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was one house on that. That was it. And he said, and I quote, this is what I heard. I don't know what the fuck he said, but what I heard was that he was not fond of the Catholics. And he said, under no circumstance are they allowed to purchase this land. I want this land to go to the city to be a park. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. So they were offering to buy it and make it like a thing for the school. And he shut that shit down.
Is that the park where they do where there's always people doing like bootleg fireworks at 4th of July?
That's every park.
No, that's on Southwood.
Oh, yeah. That's actually Southwood Elementary School.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone to see some bootleg fireworks there a couple times.
You know what's crazy is growing up...
I had friends who lived on Southwood.
Really? Yeah, I had some friends, the friends actually that went to...
Talking about street names, like you're listening to this knowing what we're talking about.
You have no idea. You have no idea, son. No, honestly, like, who's going to listen to this?
Just a rich neighborhood in Columbus. No big deal.
That shit ain't rich. My brother bought a house on Southwood for $9,000.
Woo-hoo!
9.
Ooh, okay.
And put $10,000 into
it.
Just
next to a rich neighborhood in Columbus.
You know what I'm saying? It's like right outside of a rich neighborhood. But no, that's how Columbus is. That's how Columbus is. It's like, it's all rich fucking neighborhoods that are just outside ghettos and slums. I mean, like, Bexley. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Bexley? Bexley is like $1 million homes. I actually think the mayor lives there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does the governor.
Yeah, exactly. But then, like, you cross them fucking railroad tracks, and it's like Section 8
Yep.
project all day. Did you ever venture into any projects when you were a kid?
Venture into?
Yeah. No. Like, no? Did you have any okay, you said you grew up in Grand Rapids. Did you have project communities around where you were?
Around where I was, no. But, I did live in more low-income areas. Was generally mostly white and Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
really big Mexican population in Grand Rapids because it was like a settlement for migrant worker families. Really good Mexican food. But no, I lived on, like, you know, a man-made lake that the parking lots at the mall drained into. We used to catch fish. We keep saying we're gonna end, and then we got
another few minutes. We'll wrap it up. But I'm fucking super invested in this story. What do you mean you used to catch fish?
So we lived on a lake. It was called Lake Eastbrook because it was behind the Eastbrook Mall, which was the shitty mall, and we lived next to an apartment complex, but it was a really low income neighborhood, and our yard backed up to this lake, but it was like the grossest. I mean, it was parking lot water draining into it.
Parking lot
You know,
water.
like you got the sewer drains in the middle of parking lots. This is where they were going, okay, from this mall.
Where did the original water come from? Did they just build it and put it there?
I think so. Okay, I don't know.
Okay.
There was fountains in it and shit, so I assume it was man-made. So it was stocked with bluegill, little ass fish. And I remember
big fucking mouths.
And you don't want to eat anything that came out of this. There was always legends of this one old lady who was always fishing, and everybody said that she was actually fishing for her dinner.
Oh my god.
But there was
just urban legends.
It was just kid legends. But
we're going to do a whole, like, on the next one, or a few from now, we got to do a whole thing on urban legends. I'd love to hear some of this shit that you heard in Grand Rapids, and I want to see where some of our urban legends connected.
We would go out there with our little kid fishing lures because it was our backyard. And
drop line? Did you drop line fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we were straight up just trying to catch whatever we could, and we would pull these bluegill out, and you would pull them off the hook, and they already got like 6 or 7 holes in their mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like everybody's catching these things, and everybody's throwing them back, and they're just, I'm surprised they didn't have like 6 eyes. I mean, it was gross water.
Like when you talk about fish with multiple eyes, I immediately go to Simpsons.
Well, yeah.
Simpsons every fucking time. Maybe that's a generational thing, but every time. No, I agree. This is probably a good place to end.
You got
something else for me?
I gotta just go back really quick because we talked about 2 Chainz for a second and then jumped off.
Oh, believe me. Let's do it.
I'll be honest with you. I was not a huge 2 Chainz guy. Like, I thought the Pretty Girls Like Trap Music was a decent record. Never thought he was the best rapper in the world. Nothing ever like hit me in a way that made it click with me. I think he's totally cool. I think his show, Most Expensive, is so awesome.
Love it.
And I think he's hilarious. But this new one came out and it just clicked. And I feel like it's one of the first rap records I've really fallen in love with this year.
Yeah.
And the NCAA song, man. Did you know that in those gang vocals, the NCAA, LeBron James is one of them?
Did you know LeBron James is an A&R for the album?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that fucking crazy? No, I saw tons of behind the scenes, like 2 Chainz stuff, right? I always watch that stuff. I follow like DJ Academics. I love the Joe Budden podcast. So like I'm very involved in like urban and hip hop culture. I love that shit. Love it. I actually get more hype on that than I do metal music, but I get more hype on metal music than that. So you know what I mean? It's a oh shit. It's like a back and forth, right? But no, he reached out to LeBron fucking James to be an A&R. And I don't know if that's like, first of all, he offered to pay him, which is tight because, Bron's got like all the fucking money in the world. And he's still like, let me pay you. And that's my 2 Chainz voice. Let me pay you. I don't even know. He sounds nothing like that. He's been smoking for like 10 years. No, but that's just the tightest shit ever. Like, 2 Chainz has an actual basketball background. He could have went pro, right? I think that's the whole thing. Like, he could have went pro. And then he got a pro basketball star to A&R the record. And LeBron is like always up on new hip hop.
And that song, the song I'm talking about, NCAA, which is easily my favorite track on the record, lyrically is about it's time to pay our college basketball athletes.
I mean, so they're getting paid, like.
But the bigger picture is it's time to stop letting them be one of the most popular sports for free. I don't
agree with that.
That's fair.
Do you agree with that?
I do.
I don't, and here's why. The reason it's the best to watch is because they're fucking hungry to get to that next level.
That I agree with.
And so if you took that away...
I agree with that.
If you take that away, they're going to be like, "Mama, I made it." Like, you're not going to have the same level of competition. Like, they're fucking hungry to show why that pro team needs to draft them first. That's my take on it. And I am not a sports guy.
That's fair. I'm not really a sports guy either.
Yeah, but that's my take on it. Like,
I think you make a good point. I probably still disagree on principle, but I think
what principle? Tell me.
You know, for me, it's like so many people are making money off of them that I just.
Oh yeah.
So to me,
I do not agree. I mean,
to me it feels
I don't
like.
disagree with that.
To me, it feels like. It's like dog fighting or something like that. You know, where that is a really
yeah, that's a
I swung the pendulum really hard
Think
there.
That one for me, like I have no idea where you're going with that one.
I swung the pendulum really hard there, but it's just it's so many people are making money on the backs of people who aren't.
Oh, and that's true in many fields. I mean,
I agree with that.
Think about, like, we talked about corporations for a second earlier, right? You work for a smaller company. Mm-hmm. But your smaller company does a lot of work for corporations, right? The corporation I work for being one of them. Mm-hmm. We know that. I think about all the people doing the work that we're doing, along with the people that are doing the work at your place, and then what that leads to in corporation money. I can't be mad at that. Like, they put themselves in the position to do that. They have built the architecture to need that. And, like, honestly, if I start bitching about that, they're going to lose. They're not going to need me as the cog or need your company as the cog. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I feel like that. Like, it's almost like the Republican-Democrat argument. Like well, why should they be taxed more? Because they made that money. I kind of see that. Like,
sure.
Yeah, I kind of see that. Like, I'm not mad at that, but I would like to see if they are part of that organization and they are helping make those profits. They definitely shouldn't have student loans.
I'm not, and that's the thing, is I am not advocating for, I think that college sports, somebody who is 19 years old doesn't need to be signing $50 million contracts by any means. But, you know, to me, it's like college sports are so much more fun and they're so much more real. And
Agreed.
And it's like you think about the amount of money so many people are making off of Ohio State gear. That's just relevant to us. And so our college players should be compensated in some way. You know, whether it be you absolutely have a free ride no matter what.
Yeah.
Free housing, free everything, or something. I don't know. This is a bigger conversation we could have, but
it is, and we're not the right people to even have this conversation.
No. What I was getting at in the first place is I love that a very popular rapper and arguably probably the greatest basketball player of all time.
You might get yourself in trouble, but I agree with you.
It's
a different era nowadays, but
yeah. Would come together on a song that bangs so fucking hard.
I agree.
Just to say, hey guys, can we treat our players better? Because right now it's like a show. It's like people just, people making money off of people who aren't making money.
I agree. Yeah, I think with that, we should probably wrap up for today.
Yeah.
I mean, man. We put down an hour and 33.
Okay, we did.
We killed it.
We were shooting for an hour.
We were shooting for an hour. We killed it. Yeah. So, if you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast. We are going to put the videos up on YouTube. The YouTube videos are probably going to be staggered after the podcast. So we're going to try and release the podcast. A few days later, release the video. So, if you want to watch the video, wait. I think we'll put those up, what, you think, Friday?
Sure.
Yeah, put them up Friday. Give people a chance to watch those all weekend if they want, and then catch the podcast. So hopefully this podcast is on all of the major subscribers. Honestly, I didn't do any work to figure out how to fucking get this on any major platform.
Jeff was much more prepared for this than I was, but in general, we could have been more prepared.
We could have absolutely. We didn't even fucking like. I was texting him on the way home, like, or on the way here, like, "Hey,
do you have a table?
Kid, do you have a table?" Because we fucking need a table to set these things on.
We didn't even know whose house we were gonna do it at.
Shout out to Jordan Slack because this is his amp that we're using right here. This is a beer table improv.
It's open on the back though, so I could like start
totally open on the back.
Beer on the back of his stuff.
I got my foot cocked up on it, like, yo.
So if any supplement companies like for gut health want to sponsor us,
probiotics,
I will happily talk about it for 10 minutes beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. Holler at us. Fucking, we are all about. We need some.
We're
new
all
mics.
about gut health.
Yeah, we're all about gut health. We're all about donuts. We're all about beer. You already see we shouted out Seventh Son. We shouted out Clint.
Local.
Yeah, drink local. Even if you shop or don't eat local, you better drink local. Like it's funny because you don't need beer. Total like extra shit, right? Still gonna drink local. Fucking do it.
I almost brought a bottle of whiskey instead.
I tell you, I would not have drank that. I do not fuck with whiskey. Cheers. Heckin Cool Dads Podcast, episode 1. Hope it was fun for you guys. It was fun for us. Peace.
Yep.